16 hours in operation, 8,756 tons of Elbe sediment. A disposal site in the North Sea. The big hopper dredger Kaishuu is working for the Hamburg Port Authority, removing excess sediment from the Port of Hamburg. In order to protect the environment, this sediment is first tested for chemical and ecotoxicological impurities in special laboratories. Before we started, we took a test sample in the Port of Hamburg and established that there is too much silt, but also that it's clean enough to be taken to the North Sea. There, the silt is dumped at an appropriate place. The trip to and from the North Sea takes a good 15, 16 or 17 hours. The dredger has two loading devices. At the bottom are nozzles which look a bit like the nozzle of a hoover, and they're moved over the bottom and the material is sucked in and pumped into the hold. This dredger has a hold capacity of 16,500 cubic meters. That's about 1,600 of those big articulated trucks used on the roads. The dredger has a suction capacity of about 4 cubic meters per second. Today they're removing sediment in Kohlbrand. After about an hour, the excavator is fully loaded with 8,756 tons of Elbe sediment. We have several options for dumping the silt. One spot is relatively close to the Port of Hamburg. From there, however, the silt comes back into the harbour very quickly, so it's better to take the silt out so far that it doesn't get washed back in, and we've been allocated a spot for this by Schleswig-Holstein, known as Buoy E3, where we take the silt. It doesn't come back from there. To ensure that the Kaishuu has a safe trip, there are several pilot changes on the way out of the port into the North Sea. The crew also uses the time to carry out maintenance work on board. In total, 36 people work on the Kaishuu for 6 weeks in a rotating shift system.
We're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, so quite a lot actually. And in the downtime, of course, you also need to sleep. You work as a team, of course. You have the engineering department and the deck department. In the end, of course, you want to make a good job and make everything work like it should be. So, especially on this ship, I think people working together quite good. Most of the time after working hours we spend outside in the outside bar, drink a cola, talk with each other, watch a movie downstairs in the bar or play some cards or whatever. This is a second home for me, and I think you should also feel like this.
After a 7-hour journey, the hopper dredger reaches Buoy E3 just off Helgoland in the early afternoon. This is where the sediment is dumped onto the seabed of the North Sea, 25 meters below.
There is the indicated dumping area. This is basically on the screens you can see a square, and this is where the ship also has to be at standstill. The pipe operator can start the dredge pumps to liquidize the load again. So if the chief officer says you can open the doors, he presses the buttons on the screens upstairs, and then slowly the doors open by gravity actually. And then after all the load is out, we have to do an empty ship calibration, so you know exactly how much you bring in the next time. And then after the doors are closed, we can start sailing back to the dredging area again.
After just under 2 minutes, the hold is empty and all the nozzles and pipes are flushed. Then the return journey starts and the night shift begins their duty. The Port of Hamburg is key for getting goods to people, even far beyond the borders of Germany.
We are working for the economy of Germany, so we are dredging on the Elbe. There can come ships with a bigger draft, they can load more containers.
Without decent water depths, there would be no port, so what we do is really worth it. After 8 hours, the Kaishuu arrives back in the Port of Hamburg. To ensure that ships can continue to enter and exit the Elbe, the large hopper dredger will transport up to 2 million tons of sediment into the North Sea by the end of the year.
Port is what we do.